Sammy, I'm gonna be late coming home from work again today, and I'm not gonna need you to make me anything for dinner either.
What? But you promised me before that you make it your top priority to get home early today, right? You said after you got out of work you'd come home and have dinner with Seth and I.
Eat dinner with Seth?
Did you forget about how he just received his first bonus and was wanting to take us out for dinner on him? You'd promised him you'd be able to go out today after he had come home during the holidays and everything.
Oh, is that right? I completely forgot about all of that. I'm sorry, but could you two go by yourselves, please? I had plans come in for me to go out to dinner with a customer of mine.
Again? You were saying the same exact thing the other day when this happened with you, right?
I happen to have more than just one customer that I have to work with, you know. And since it's now January, there's a lot of work going on with all of them. Can you go and apologize to Seth for me, please?
How about you call or text him and tell him sorry for all of that yourself?
Well, it's a bit hard for me to have to talk with him over the phone, actually. You get what I mean, right? Him and I don't really see eye to eye on many things, and I'd much rather talk with our oldest, Mike, about things.
Well, Seth is still one of your sons, so I don't think you should be saying things like that about him when it's you with the problems.
I never said that I was blaming him or hating him for anything, though. I just don't like how he's always going on and on about the things I say to him and is always trying to one-up me. Remember how bad he was back when he was in high school? Always talking to me like I was the child and never knew what I was saying?
Well, high school is a strange time for boys to go through, so I don't blame him for having different opinions about you then. And remember that none of the things he was saying to you were wrong, right? I'm glad that he had the wit to tell you straight to your face that you shouldn't be avoiding all the chores when both you and I are working. And the things he said about you not being delicate when speaking to others.
He seems to only ever want to side with you, Sammy. Maybe you've turned him into a bit of a mama's boy? Even Mike has been a bit worried about the kid. And Seth is working out in the real world now, yet he doesn't even have a girlfriend or anything yet, right? What's all that about?
What are you saying, Brad? He does have a girlfriend right now, and she is very cute.
Wait, is that true? Last year, when we were all at Mike's wedding, he told me that he wasn't in a relationship or anything, right?
That's because you were trying to pick on him about how he would never find a woman. He just lied to you so that you would all leave him alone, right? He didn't want to have to deal with you picking on him any longer, and that's why he ended things right then and there.
Duh. That's what I really don't like about the kid at all, Sammy. He doesn't understand how to have a good time and talk with his old man.
Well, you need to stop having such good times like that when you're at work. If you're acting the same way there like you act at home, then you're going to scare away all the new hires.
Well, Mike understands what I'm talking about all the time.
And that's only because Mike took after you and has fallen under your influence of becoming a bad man. I am happy he found a woman to marry and all, but he never does any of the chores at home either for her. I've been getting pretty worried lately that he might be causing some trouble for his wife Mary now.
Mary's the type of wife that would do anything and everything for her husband, all right? Not only is she quiet, but she listens and does everything he says. And when it comes to her body, I could do all kinds of stuff to it.
Hey, you! Don't you ever say things like that in front of her when she's around, okay? Heck, you shouldn't even be saying things like that in front of your own wife. Understood? I'm sorry to say, but the way you talk is a century too old and needs to be changed for the better.
You really love to just run that annoying little mouth of yours, huh? Are you starting to hate the fact that you're becoming old now and are taking it out on everyone else? Because that's exactly what this all seems like to me.
Why are you suspecting that sort of thing from me?
Because recently you've really been going overboard with all that nagging, all right? And based off the way you're looking these days, I don't blame you for being upset. I mean, your stomach has started to look like a deflated basketball and your face like a wet piece of paper. I know you're trying your best to hide all of that under sweatshirts and makeup, but I can see all of those things all too easily.
I'm not trying to hide any of these things, actually. I'm at the point now where I've had 2 kids, and the both of them are living on their own now. So it makes sense that I'd be looking a lot older than before, right? And let me just say, you're not shying away from looking your age either. So I have no idea what you think you're doing sitting there making fun of my looks and age, when you yourself aren't looking any younger.
When it comes to men, the older they are, the better they look. An adult man who's well put together and everything is what younger women want. You really have no clue what you're going on about, do you, Sammy?
Oh, is that so? Anyhow, you need to just be a bit more careful about the way you talk to others about others. I'll go and talk with Seth now about how you're not coming out to dinner tonight, and about how you broke that promise. Brad, do you know what time it is right now? I would like to lock the front door and go to bed soon. So either you come home soon here, or you don't come home at all tonight. What's it going to be?
You don't have to lock the freaking doors, all right? I'm not sure what time I'm going to be home yet either, so you can leave the house unlocked and head right off to bed.
But recently in the next town over, there has been a rise in crimes like break-ins. And it sounds like a few of those people are still on the loose and haven't been caught yet. I already spoke with a few of the neighbors about it, and some of them said to start locking our doors at night in case they come this way. So before I head off to bed, I'd like to lock everything up.
What would someone like that even want to be breaking into our house for anyway? And even if you locked the doors, they could still break in through the window or just kick the front door down. Don't forget that the back door is a sliding door, which would be all too easy for them to break, right?
Stop saying such scary things, Brad. I would like to protect this house the best that I can, because it's what I've put so much of my life into. And considering that we have a nice house and lots of nice things inside of it, they would most definitely aim for it, right?
Yeah, all right. You're right that there are a lot of things they'd want to steal from us. But are they really going to steal from people who still have 10 years left of their loan to pay off? I like to think we're anything but rich.
This house was built thanks to that order your parents made, right? I told them not to put so much work into the place because we didn't need much at all. But they went all out on the place anyway, and just when they were supposed to start helping us pay the loans off, they passed away. And to make matters worse, they left you and I with nothing but debt, right?
But I made sure not to take any of that debt after they passed away, so you don't have to worry about it.
Well, even if that's true, they still left us with such a massive loan in this house, right? Because of that, no matter how much I work and work and work, I'm not able to save up any money. And now that both of our kids are out of the house and on their own, we should be saving all of our money so that we can retire.
Why are you making such a fuss right now? You and I are both working full-time, so we'll make everything work out for us in the end. Well, I say that you and I are both working full-time, but your line of work seems to be all fun and games for you, right? I really wish I could have a career like that instead of the crap I've been led into.
I know that I've already explained this to you plenty of times now, but my current job is anything but fun for me.
What did you call yourself again? An influencer? All you're doing is making posts online and bringing in some pocket change for us.
I am using the internet to make announcements about very important news regarding things that most people are using on a day-to-day basis. And at the moment, I'm in talks with some very important people about their businesses and mine.
Stop trying so hard to gain my respect. And you really think there are any businesses that want to work with an old lady's influence like yours? Stop thinking you're worth anything at all when you're only making a couple $100 a month.
All right. If that's what you want to think about all of this, then go right ahead. I'm tired of talking about all of this with you, Brad. So when are you coming home tonight?
I told you already, I'm not sure about that yet. Stop worrying about the house getting broken into and go to bed.
Brad, you and I have been married for close to 30 years now, right? And I'm not trying to place any restrictions on your life or anything. But recently, I feel as though you've been a little bit too crazy.
What do you mean?
Your life is becoming a bit crazy for your age. Every single day you're coming home late. And when it's your days off, you're never at home with me, right? It seems as though you're only coming home now to sleep, and that's it.
Unlike you and your pathetic life, I'm a busy man. And also, when I'm at home with you, I can't catch a break, 'cause there's this annoying old hag there that's telling me to do this and that all the damn time.
Don't start to think that me asking you to do the chores at home is anything new, Brad. I wouldn't mind if you at least did a few every week and let me take care of the rest. But the few times you are ever home, you don't do anything, and always yell at me to cook something for you and for me to get your work clothes ready for you. It's like I'm some kind of housemaid of yours with the way you always talk to me. So I just ask that you do the things you want done from time to time and stop making me do all of them.
Sammy, I'm the breadwinner of this house, all right? I'm very much different from someone who just sits around at home all day playing for work. Even Mike said something about this, right? He said that for someone who relies on me for everything, Mom sure loves to take those business trips all the time.
When did you and Mike talk about my business trips and I?
We called one another the other day is all.
Oh, are you talking about that phone call where he was asking you for more money because his life isn't going the way he expected?
Well, I guess that's what it was about.
So he's even calling you about all of that now.
Hey, can't you please hand him a little money to help him out? He's a newly married man, and I feel bad for him. It'd be a shame if his wife started to notice he's in need of money right after getting married, right?
What are you talking about? That kid should have gotten a ton of money from all of the family when he had his wedding and everything, right? Yet he went and spent all of that money in a month?
He told me that there were a lot of expenses he still needed to pay off, all right? And when it comes to men, they have a lot of socializing to do as well.
Well, I never told him that I was against giving him some more money. But if he's going to ask us for money, I wanted to see a well-thought-out plan where he will only be putting that money into the house in order to make sure he doesn't get into any more financial trouble. However, he told me he's not going to do something that's such a pain in the butt and hung up on me without saying goodbye.
Mike isn't on his own anymore, though. He has a wife like Mary now, so things like that aren't easy for him to do anymore.
That's just a weak excuse, Brad. You want to know why he's acting like that in the first place? It's because you always spoiled him growing up. Which is so upsetting since you always hold things against Seth and never let him have the same chances Mike had. You made Seth pay to get his own driver's license, all the while paying Mike more than it was worth for the license because he'd spend half of that money on himself. If we don't start holding Mike accountable for always blowing through the money he has, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble down the road, and that will most definitely hurt Mary. I don't want for Mary to have to go through all of that when she is so sweet.
You really don't ever listen to a thing Mike or I say to you, do you? That's one of the many reasons why I don't want to go back home to you, you annoying hag.
Then how about you and him start acting like respectable adults, and then I won't have to comment on it anymore.
I like to think that the loan on this house isn't the problem for you and me, but you yourself. I would love it if I could build myself a new wife just like this house.
God, all you ever have to say is the most rude and self-centered junk. Are you not even a little bit thankful for having me around the house? Who do you think has been the one taking care of you all these years?
All right, okay, I've had enough of this crap now. I'm not going to be coming home now tonight, so go ahead and lock the place up and go to bed. I'm not even going to expect anything good from you anymore, so do as you please. Good night. Sammy, I have something I'd like to talk with you about.
And what the heck could you want to talk with me about? For the past 2 weeks, you have been completely ignoring me, never even saying a word, right?
I've been out drinking with Mike lately.
Is that right?
And, well, I've decided that I'm going to be getting a divorce from you now.
Huh?
I've had enough of you and what you stand for. I'll be having Mike and his wife move in with me now, so you're welcome to get out of my house any time between now and then.
Jesus, yet another one of your stupid ideas has shown its face.
There's no need for you and I to be together anymore, right? And also, to both Mike and I, all you ever are anymore is this burden that we have no use for. With you out of the house and my life, I'll finally be able to get a breath of fresh air again. And I'll be able to give both Mike and Mary a nice house to live in while they're having some struggles, right? And Mary'll be doing all of the chores in the house for us.
I don't actually mind the idea of divorcing you and leaving this house, but will you guys be able to afford to pay off the rest of the loan together? There are still plenty of years left on it that you'll have to be responsible for.
It's just $500 a month, right? That's pocket change to a man with a job like mine.
$500 a month? What do you think you're saying right now? It's $5,000 a month, Brad.
Huh? $5,000 a month? Stop trying to lie to me about that. I've been paying $500 a month for the last couple of years on that loan, all right?
You have been, that's true. But I've been the one paying off the remainder every month after you.
Look, you, I don't care how much you're against the both of us getting married. You need to stop lying about things like that. Tell me, what kind of a house would require a loan that's $5,000 a month to pay off?
This house, you dumbass. It's all because of both of your parents when went to town making the plans for this house up that we had to take out such a massive loan. It's the kind of house where we have to spend almost 10 whole years of income paying it off. And the bank said we'd get 20 years to pay it off. Compared to most other loans, that's a very short time frame to work with. But none of you ever listened to me about when I said we didn't need all these extra rooms and crap here.
Are you really saying that there's a reason for this place costing $5,000 a month and that you're the one paying that remaining $4,500 a month off?
I am saying that, Brad.
If you're going to speak to me like that, then how's about you go to bed first and learn to wake up? Honestly, it's so childish for you to be making up such a lie right now just because you don't want to be thrown away. Well, if it's really $5,000 a month, then I'll be able to pay that off too. So you're going to be leaving me whether you want to or not.
All right, sure thing. I like to think this is the perfect time for me anyway. I was doing my very best to hold myself together in order to raise our kids and get them out of the house. And now that the both of them are out and have jobs of their own, I think it's time I said goodbye to you. I'll be sure to leave this house during this week, all right? So let's make sure to get those divorce papers handed in as soon as possible. How does that sound to you?
I can't believe how much of a bitch you're acting like to the very end. That's why the moment you became an old hag, you're being abandoned by your family. Starting right now, you're gonna be finding out just how much you'd taken advantage of me and my money, and will most definitely learn to regret it. Hey, Sammy, where are you at right now?
That has nothing to do with you, right? I mean, you and I are completely divorced from one another after all.
This house's loan, it really is $5,000 a month to pay it off.
It sure is, Brad. It sure is. Have you finally come around to believing what I told you now?
Mary told me that a demand letter came in the mail today.
Uh-huh. I was expecting something like that to be coming to you guys soon.
Hey, what should we do about this?
That has nothing to do with me, so asking me is only going to annoy me. Now, what I'd like to talk about is splitting our properties. Whatever happened to us doing all of that anyway? You always say that you're too busy to talk about it and say that we can chat later. Well, it's been a month now since I left the house, so could you please hurry up and decide on a date for us to talk? I have a lawyer who is growing a bit impatient now, and I'd like to let them know when to come out and see me.
Sammy, do you think you could come back to me?
Excuse me?
You were always paying off the remainder of this loan every month, right? At first I thought you were just lying about all of that to avoid the divorce, but you weren't kidding me then, huh? I seriously didn't think at the time that you were really bringing in that kind of money each month.
You want me coming back to you now ever since learning about the amount I'm making? Don't be so ridiculous, Brad. You really have lost all of my respect.
No, wait, I'm really regretting kicking you out of the house for Mike and Mary now. Mike has been making me pay for everything in his life now, and I assumed that Mary was this very well-rounded woman, but she doesn't actually do any of the chores here. Actually, she's far worse when it comes to burning through money, and just last week she spent $5,000 on plastic surgery alone, and she did it with her credit card. How could she do something like that?
They are so much alike, it sounds. To be honest, I was always worried about Mary being with Mike, you know? But did you know that when I was leaving the house, she stopped by and was laughing at me under her breath? I thought that maybe she didn't mean to laugh at me or anything. But then I learned she did view me the same way as Mike did. And man, am I glad I didn't worry about her any more than I was.
This is not okay. I never thought things would turn out like this for me, all right?
But isn't this all that you've decided on having happen? I think that it's too late for you to be trying to get back with your ex-wife now after things you've said to her. So how about you put down that phone of yours and start asking for more work so that you have the money to start paying things off?
Please, Sammy, come back to me. If you come back and live with me again, I'll make sure to kick both Mike and Mary out.
No way, Brad. I'm actually looking forward to what this new life of mine holds for me. So you screw off and get out of my way.
But I'm in a whole lot of trouble right now. If nothing changes here, then I'm going to even end up losing this house.
Well, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing for you, though? If you're not able to afford paying off that loan anymore, go ahead and sell the house to get yourself out of debt. I'm sure it won't sell for the price we had to buy it for, though. But that's just the downside of not taking great care of the place.
You're telling me to let go of this house now?
That's the only option you have now, mister. And let's not forget about the money you still owe me. Are you even able to pay that off?
You're talking about money that I owe you?
We'll talk more about it when we speak about the property split. But I paid a lot more of that house off than you, which means I get part of it. So if you don't have the money to give me in place of the house, then you're going to have to sell it and give me part of what you make. Also, you have a settlement to pay off for having that affair.
What affair?
Oh no. So you just assumed that I never noticed anything going on there? You would go and pay to hang out with a young girl and have sex with her all the time, right? You were even using some of the money we saved up in our shared account, right? I have all the evidence proving these things, so don't even try talking your way out of any of it.
Since when did you know about all of that?
I started looking into it about a year ago now. And that's why I've been thinking about divorcing you for a while now, actually.
Why are you only bringing all of that up with me now?
I was just waiting for the correct timing was all. But then you started to talk about how you wanted to divorce me, which was the best thing I could have ever asked for. And the only reason I was waiting until after the divorce to talk with you about this is because we needed to settle all of our other problems first.
Hold on a second. At this point in time, I really don't have any money. And right now I have no clue what's going to happen to me and this house next month.
That has not a single thing to do with me, though. I'm going to make sure you pay the hell up, big guy.
I'm sorry. I apologize for having thrown you out of the house and abandoning you, and for having made fun of you and your career. I was wrong for doing all of that to you. So please, could you come back and help me now?
You're asking me to go back to a man that not only made fun of the woman I am, but only paid $500 of the $5,000 loan, and who went and had affairs with another girl much younger than you and I? Would you cut it out with all of that unfathomable talk? Who do you think you are saying that to someone like me that's doing just fine on my own?
Until recently, you and I were doing so well together, right? We'd been together for 30 years, right?
You and I were doing so well together. I'm sorry, but I think I was the one working their ass off in order for us to do so well together. And it was your ass that kicked me out of the house and divorced me after 30 years, right?
Sammy, I really am so sorry for all of that. From now on, I'll do everything you say to me. And from now on, I'll be doing all of the chores for us. So please forgive me. Please find some way to give me one more chance that will allow the two of us to live together again. That's all I'm asking for.
No matter what you have to say to me now, it's too late. You should have been saying things like that to me when we were married and living together, right? You really were the most useless person ever, right until the very end. It's because you not only look like an old fart, but act like one too, that I'm never going back to you. So now, you can learn and regret all the things you did to me for the rest of your sad, little, insignificant life. After that, my ex-husband and I got together and talked all about how much he'd owe me in the splitting of our properties, as well as how much the settlement would be for him having had those affairs. But of course, he didn't have the money to pay me immediately, and so I told him to hold off on that until he had sold his house and had some money ready. And then, after half a year had gone by since the divorce, the money was transferred into my account by him. I'm sure that for him it was hard to have to pay me that $40,000 settlement. But that's what happened when he had an affair after being my husband for so long. And for my older son, he still follows my ex-husband around looking to get any money he can out of him. And currently, the three of them have been living together in a smaller apartment. I've heard a lot about how they all get into fights quite often at that apartment, and will cause a lot of trouble for the rest of the tenants since they are so loud. And it's always about things like my ex-husband not having enough money for his son and daughter-in-law, and about how Mary isn't doing enough of the chores for my ex. I know that for a little bit, both Mike and Mary claimed that they would leave my ex and go to her parents' house for good. But when they tried calling them to ask if that'd be all right, they were hung up on immediately. It seems that Mary's lack of seriousness and total selfishness around the house didn't go without notice at home, and so both of her parents had cut ties to her a long time ago over all of that. So, I suppose it means Mary just forgot about all of that, or was never really aware in the first place what they'd done. But with no other options, and with Mike not really making enough money to support the both of them anymore, they had to shut up and continue living off of my ex-husband, who doesn't have much money coming in either. I made sure to block both my older son and my ex-husband soon after getting the money, but not long after that, my younger son Seth called me and said that Mike was asking him for money now. But since he had been treated like crap by both my ex-husband and Mike, he said he had no reason to help them out any, and blocked their phone numbers as well. He only did that, though, after sending a picture of him laughing to his brother and watching how he responded to that. I'm not sure how things are going to turn out for my ex and older son down the road, but they are free to do whatever the hell they want now. I'm sure that neither of them are going to have very fun lives, though, anymore. As for myself, after getting all of that money from my ex-husband, I went and bought myself an older condo downtown. Thankfully, the place was partially furnished with some rather nice stuff, and most of the piping and electrical are all new, so it is livable. Over time, I'll work on getting myself some nicer furniture and decorate the place up a little, and will also repaint the walls and redo the wood floors as well. But that'll all be stuff I do down the road, because this year I'm just going to take things easy in regards to my wallet and focusing on making money. Because of the loan I was paying on that other house, I never really had the ability to save much money at all, so from now on I'm going to work my butt off to save up for retirement. I want to make sure I have enough so that I never have to bother my son for any of his money or time, and can leave him to do whatever he likes with his girlfriend. And with me no longer having to worry about my ex-husband and older son, I have the ability to work as much as I want for as long as I want. There's no telling how long I'm going to continue working for, but as long as my body can function properly, I'll try to have some form of income. I really am looking forward to what some would call the second chance at life and what will it bring me down the road. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.